Okay, we'll see if this stream is running or not. This is the first time I've streamed in a very long time, so we'll see how it goes. Um, this is running on a mobile hotspot, so the stream might drop unexpectedly, and I have no idea what I can do to prevent that. So I'm just going to take a moment to make sure that everything is looking good before I actually get started here, because I don't see any visual here. Oh, there it is. Okay, excellent. Yep. All right, so I suppose it's time. Um, the plan for tonight is damage indicators for anybody who is tuning in after the fact. I've got kind of a basic idea of what I want to do for these, but um, nothing too concrete yet. So I'm just going to start with uh, just a really simple shape. Basically, um, the idea that I want to use here is I want to employ um, modulation with these geometric shapes just so that I can have little damage indicators. So if I were to take this, for example, and then I was going to add a second one like that, except that doesn't exactly line up. Why does that not line up? Is this not symmetrical? No, it is. It is. It's just, hang on. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Sorry. So this is upright. Then we rotate it all the way around. So it would look something like that. Interesting. Um, that's not right. The stream's bitrate is lower than it wants to be. Hang on. Can I change my bitrate settings real quick? Settings, stream, output. Yeah, video bitrate. I should increase that a bit. I can afford to increase it. I'll try 5 megabits, and I'll see if YouTube likes that a bit better. So let me make sure the stream is working correctly still. Yep. Okay. So the idea with the damage indicators is firstly, okay, so I don't want to use this shape because as you can see, the center of this star is not actually at like the center of mass of the star, and that's no good. We don't want that. We want the shapes to be able to rotate freely within each other, so we're going to use this six-pointed star instead. The hope, again, the plan is to use modulation. Um, by using modulation, we can basically like significantly cut down on the number of necessary textures. It's gonna do this. Okay. Um, how do I center you then? I guess it's 1024, right? So I need to center it on 512. Yeah, that's more or less centered. So then, when the damage animation plays, then it could look like that, for example. And I'm much happier with that. That's more symmetrical. So we're just going to save this as we're going to save this to my textures folder, and we're going to call this damage_splash.png. Forgive me if my typing and movement is a little slow. I'm not used to this desk and this chair. It's a very new setup for me, so muscle memory needs to be relearned here and there. I think a good idea is to pull up Planar Robit here. The game itself, it's opening in the wrong menu or in the wrong window. Let me move that around for you guys so you can see it. So what I want to do is, I think first things first, everything's it's going to be placed in the battle manager when we're done here. It's going to go into the scene. Um, but I think it would be wise of us to first create a new oh dear, hang on. I believe, is there a problem with my stream? I gotta double check. I gotta do a double check see real quick. The interruption, the sad, tragic interruption. YouTube decided to mess up my thumbnail for some reason. That's interesting. I don't know why. Anyway, we're all good now. Feel free to chat whenever. This is meant to be a pretty lax stream, so um, so I think what we want to do for the damage icon, actually, I already have to make a hard decision. Do I want it to be 3D or 2D? Because if I make it 3D, then I can have it in like a physical space in the world, and it would make sense, right? It would be in a physical space in the 3D environment, and it would be relatively easy to place the damage icon where it belongs. On the other hand, I could use 3D sprites and 3D text and or sorry, 2D sprites and 2D text, and I could unproject the position of a 3D object to place these in the world. And that's a little bit more complicated as far as like positioning, but it's a little bit better in terms of what visual options I have. So I think I'm gonna go with 2D actually. So I'm gonna make it a 2D scene. I need to go to. Sorry, it's been so long since I've touched this game. Oh, I suppose I should also send out a ping to the Robit server and let people know that the stream is now. How do I do this? Sorry, I need to get a link to my own stream. Oh dear. Oh me, oh my. Um, is this the button? Yes, share. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna get this out there. The word, it must be spread. There we go. Okay, I have pinged everyone. Time to use @everyone 50 times. I don't know why YouTube decided to butcher my thumbnail like that and add all that white space, but I'm not gonna fight it right now. Yeah, I'm not gonna fight it right now. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to take that newly created icon. I have it somewhere in here. I can't show my pictures folder. Too many spoilers in there. It's under, although I suppose I already shared some spoilers. It's the PVZ Obsessor guy, the Sunflower Trollface man. Here, I'm trying to find the thing. I put it under textures, that's right. So damage splash, and I believe I saved that as a PNG. And let me make sure I've got the proper folder. It's somewhere here. Battle icons. Yeah, it's going to be under battle icons. That makes sense. So we're going to import the damage splash.png, and then we're going to add not one, but two of these. My goodness, these are large. I'm going to crank the size down by a considerable margin. And whoops, no, I want to keep it to scale. Okay, and I need two of these actually. And I suppose I do want them centered on the origin. I think that would make sense. And I want one to start sort of rotated a bit compared to the other. Can I snap it? There we go. Okay, so this is the sort of shape that I'm thinking of. And now let's do some silly stuff with the modulation here. So if we make the modulation about 50%, so that's going to be 128. And we do the same on this one. Visibility, modulate. Okay, so this is sort of what the damage splash will look like. Um, these are going to be rotating counter to one another, so it'll kind of have a cool look. Lastly, we need to add the number. So we're going to use a label. And I still need to learn Godot styles. I have not yet learned Godot styles, so I'm still doing a little bit of manual work um, in terms of the shape here. So let me so to do that, it's under theme overrides, um, and then under fonts, you got to set your font. My preferred font, the official Robit font, is Unispace Bold. I think Unispace Bold is a very pretty font. Let's put in a sample text. 10 damage, insanely high, unbelievable. Don't do that. I'm still in rotate mode. So we need to make it so that this damage text is centered. Okay, so you can see that when you make this text bigger, it becomes very fuzzy. And that is because it's a font size issue. So if we go to font overrides again, um, and we override the font size, I think if we make it big and then we shrink it, then it will be very sharp. You can see now it's very, very sharp. I think 400 is a bit excessive though. Let's just do 100. Now, we will probably never see anything in Planar Robit that does, my goodness, please work with me. I mean, actually, no. 10 damage you could reasonably find in Planar Robit. And I want to scale it so that 10 damage is about as big as what you can put in this field here. You can see I need to turn off snap to grid because it's not quite lining exactly the way I want it to. There we go, just like that. So we've got this sort of damage indicator set up. I think I want an outline on this text just to make it a little bit more readable because again, this is going to flash up very quickly. The colors are going to blend together and it's not going to be very easy to read unless we put a black outline on it. So let me find the outline option. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in here. Oh, I can search. Colors, font, outline. Here we go. So we turn on outline. And let's just increase that. We're at font size 100. Yeah, okay. So the outline needs a color, or at least I think it does. How do I? Okay, so I'm going to be real with you. I don't know how to set an outline's color. So I'm going to have to find that out. There we go. Okay, so there's the outline color. And that makes it clear to me that this isn't very well centered still. Actually, I think this is going to have to be centered. It's going to have to be like this, even though it doesn't look censored. It's centered. It's going to have to be like that, which is unfortunate. Very sad. Let me pull up my stream so I can see chat still. I can. Epic. Okay, so this is going to be. I'm not 100% happy with this, but it's fine for now. And again, the idea here is modulate. So if I went into texture, it's not under texture. It's under visibility. Yeah. So if I go under visibility again, you can see I've got free reign over this modulate. So if I wanted the damage indicator to be red and I wanted the damage splash to be red, all I have to do is change all these modulates in tandem, and look at that. That's a red damage indicator now. The idea behind having these colorable damage indicators is that I want it to be very clear to the player if an attack is of a specific element, without telling them, hey, you just got hit by a thermal attack. It's more intuitive if the player sees the color red. It's like, oh, the thing I just touched was hot. Or if the player sees, the color green, oh, I touched acid or something. They see purple, I got shocked by electricity. That's sort of that's the idea behind this. So let's go ahead and save this as damage indicator.scene, and we're going to drop that in my battle file here. Yep, damage indicator.scene. And now we're going to attach a script so that we can actually play around with it. So when a damage indicator is created, we're going to need like a run indicator function, I presume. So we need to call that func run indicator, and then we're going to need an element. Define Robit pass. Sorry, taking a sip of water. I think we should make a before we go any further, we should I can't spell enum. We should make an enum just to make it so that we don't make it is I can't tell. I think it's vaguely related to scub, and I think I'll get in trouble if I go any further. I can't describe Robit. It's a state of being. You gotta understand it, I'm trying to find an example of an enum somewhere because I've not actually used an enum in a very long time, and I've forgotten the syntax for that. So let me find an enum real quick. I think NPC 2. Do I have an enum in the NPCs? No. I know I have an enum in my player node. I have to go very out of my way to find this. I'm sorry. Characters, trio. Also, my trio code is spaghetti. I started it whenever I was learning Godot, and I've not cleaned it up since. I don't have an enum here. I have to have one in my player node, right? This is bad code. Ignore that, please. Oh, it's literally just... Okay. Yeah, I'm actually dumb. Womp womp. Yeah, that's all you got to do for an enum. Isn't that awesome? So the attack types are going to be physical, thermal, chemical, and electrical, and magnetic. Magnetic's kind of a weird one. Now it's going to be relatively rare, and there's going to be basically no counter to it, and you're just going to have to be good at blocking. I think this is all of the main types. Physical, thermal, chemical, electrical, and magnetic. I can't think of any other attack type that the game would have. Most attacks are going to fall under thermal, and then, of course, under physical, my bad. Most attacks are going to fall under physical, and then thermal, chemical, and electrical will depend on the enemy. Some enemies will be more inclined to certain attacks. So we're going to have... So for parameters here, hang on, I should do that so I don't get an error still. So the parameters are going to be element and damage. I think that's fair. I think that's really all you need to know. So when we run indicator, we are going to here. Let me get another thing. Var we're going to call it assets, and we're going to make all these nodes part of this asset array. These are all pointers to the assets. And the reason why we're doing this is because we can do a I have a FedEx package. Hang on. I'm sorry. I just received an email or a text message I did not expect. I might actually have to put the stream on pause. This is very sudden. I apologize. Let me get a notepad. That's I certainly hope it's not one. I hope it's not for Mr. Kaczynski. Yeah. uh, yeah, I will be right back, lads. Yeah, I didn't expect a package, but I got a text from my landlord, so I I'll be right back. Yeah, shoot. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I ran down to the apartment lobby and hauled up a really big package. I gotta find out what this is before I go out to streaming, because I did not order a package this big. There's no way. They sent me two. No bloody way. Okay, that's ridiculous. So, um, I bought a chair on Amazon. It was a little expensive, and it wasn't comfy. I'm not happy with it. That's what I've been sitting in my stream here. Um, and I got a second one in the mail somehow. I think I want to return them both. Actually, you know what I could do? I could just return the one, say that I got the one, and then buy an actually good chair with the refund. No, whatever. And keep this one so that nobody else has to be cursed with it. No, I don't know. I don't know. Whew, sorry, I'm still a little bit winded. It was a heavy backup chair. Backup chair for whenever I freak out and destroy this one for being so uncomfortable. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of frustrated. I don't know why they would send me two. Trust me, guys, this one's gonna be good for real. J Schlatt with the keywords. I'm not familiar with that one. I gotta figure out my RGB colors because I need to so I need my var elements lookup, and that's gonna be that's not a function. So we need to do color 8 here, which means I need to pull out my little color buddy. Color buddy, isn't that adorable? I'm thinking color somewhere like that is good for it's good for kinetic. I should call it kinetic. That's a cooler name. I could call it kinetic, thermic, chemic, and electric. Those are cooler. And magnetic. Isn't that so much cooler? Making up words. What? What about laser beam? I have no idea what laser beam is. Are we still live? Yeah, we're still live. We're fine. So. Oh, you're talking to Mr. Knightley. My right hand, my top guy. All right, so we looked at the data. We looked at the data, and the data says that the color for kinetic is going to be 255, 187, 0. Okay. And then the color for thermic, we all know that the color for thermic is going to be 255, 00 because it's red, and red is hot. And then for chemic, it's going to be green. Green. Yeah, I'll just go with this lime color for now. Then for electric, what does that mean, Fred? I know exactly what you mean, but what does that mean? For legal purposes, I don't know what you mean. Do I want half red on this? like a 128. That's a cool electric purple. 128-0255. And then lastly, magnetic, I'm just going to make it blue. RGB. And there we go. Okay, so we've got our color lookup. So now we're going to do, so when we do the run indicator function, team blue electric or yellow electric, I'm on team purple electric actually. I think electric is purple because lightning is purple. Lean electric, very true. So we're going to do assets of I.modulate equals elements lookup of element. Yeah. And I need to tell you that that's a loop because you do not know that. And then we're going to do label dot, I believe it's just dot text. Yeah, dot text equals, and that's going to be string of damage. Did you hear that wonderful bing bong? That is the sound of my computer backing everything up to my backup drive. Make me chat mod so I can ban Guy from chat preemptively. We are not going to be banning Guy from anything here. Function color 8 not found in base self. Probably because I didn't capitalize the C in color 8. We got color 8s across the board. Terry A. Davis would be so mad. That's like 2 to the 24 unique colors. Unbelievable. Terry A. Davis believes in 16 colors. I think this is literally all I need to do to make the indicator do its thing. So now I need my process function. And in my process function, we're just going to do something really, really simple. Dot rotate. And this is in radians. Ew. I don't like radians because I'm not a nerd. So we're just going to have these constantly rotating, like counteracting each other, you know? So these guys are going to be counter-rotating. It's going to, when Jerry cameo, Jerry's going to get me banned from YouTube. I couldn't. I wouldn't even try. I love Jerry. He's my high school buddy. We've been good friends for a very long time, but I would not trust that man on my YouTube channel. Actually, I did trust him on my YouTube channel. I did. The video that he was in literally had slur in the title. Not a slur, but the word slur in the title. So I guess it wasn't the worst, but it was kind of bad. Right. I also need to do so we both know that the spiky things their alpha modulate needs to be 0.5. Their alpha modulate needs to be half so that you can kind of see through them a little bit. No, I'm not talking about slurs. I believe I'm speaking quite clearly. I don't slur my speech. It's a play on words. It's a subtle joke. Alrighty. So I believe this is really all I need. Like if I were to drop this in Battle Manager, for example. Let me find this. Oh, right. I need to change my project settings real quick so that this will run in the matching window. Actually, that's in my editor settings. Editor settings. How do you cut 600 critical words from an essay? You dumb down your language a ton. and you actually no, I guess dumbing down the language wouldn't reduce the word count. You just remove critical sections. Yeah, you just need to cut the scope. If you're at 1800 of a 1200 word paper, then you've overscoped and you need to remove sections of your paper. It's due tonight. Well, that's a good thing though. You're over. You just need to find the least critical sections and cut them out. And I think a lot of critical sections or a lot of uncritical sections you can just replace with an unverified thesis statement, and most people will read that and take it as fact. That's how news headlines work. So I think it can work in an essay as well. 7,000 word first draft. My goodness. I always have the reverse issue. I think my writing is always too succinct, and then I have to intentionally dumb it down and add extra words along the way before I turn it in. Anyway, I am stalling. I need to find my editor option so that I can window placement. We're going to set the screen to same as editor so you guys can see what my thingamajigger doohickey do. So if I were to run now, that's actually the wrong run button. I press this run button. Yeah, so it pulls up this screen. Cool. So what we're going to do now is we're going to we're going to add the damage indicator first and foremost. So if I can find that, I will hopefully be able to run it. And that's under my battle tab. I've got a real mess. It's in a state. Damage indicator dot Godot. Ooh, I fucked up, didn't I? Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. Okay. I accidentally dragged the wrong thing over. Why is it not working? There we go. Okay. This is called Node 2D because I didn't name it because I wasn't thinking. This just ran in the wrong window. Stop that. Hang on, I gotta change my editor settings because I pressed Control Z and undid it. Window placement, same as editor, close, and then we run it. Okay, so that's what the damage indicator looks like. It's kind of cool, it's stuck in the top left corner of the screen though, because I'm a goober. I'm a goober. So if we took this and we like put it over here, for example, and we saved. Comfy Robit music in the background. I could, but the problem is if I play comfy Robit music in the background, it's going to overlap with the game music. What are your thoughts on this this Robit star thing? I think that one of these should rotate at a slightly different speed because they're overlapping at like a very easy to predict interval, and that makes me uncomfy. Acceptable consequence, really? Well, okay. The debugger is crying. Node not found. Damage splash relative to node 2D. You should find it. It wasn't able to find any of these? Oh, I'm dumb. We have to use onReady. So the reason why you need to use feeling poor looking at that shape. Hey, if it had one less point or one more point, you wouldn't be complaining. So the issue here is that when Godot runs, it initializes the parent nodes before it initializes the children. And so when the parent node is initialized, go away. When the parent node is initialized and we have just this line of code, it tries to grab these assets, but these assets haven't loaded in yet. These assets get loaded in after the parent is loaded in. So we have to do this onReady keyword, which basically it makes it so that the node says, hold it, wait, don't run this line of code until all of your children are ready. And then it's good. So this should make it not cry, hopefully. And then if I Alt-Tab, it's whining, but it's not crying. So we're doing better, doing better. Yeah, so I suppose, yeah, Tread said, Mr. Knightley said, Robit music. So I can pull up, I actually have quite a few songs in my library. Jazz Waltz Test, I.O. Center, Perfect Girl X, Arabic Instrumental, Slowed to Perfection, Arabic Patrick Bateman Song .m4a. Crystal Cavern. Actually, I want to listen to It's a Hold Down. I like that song. That song is very cozy. For It's a Hold Down. Actually, I'm going to use LMMS so I can get a perfect loop whenever I listen to the song. Let me pull that open. It's a Hold Down. It's a Hold Down. Can I find you, please? Oh, no, I didn't call it that. What did I call it? Here, I'm going to sort by date. Chord cliche, blah, blah, blah. It's a little bit further down, I know. It's earlier than I.O. Center. This song is a solo. There's a cry for help. Shut-in synth sonata. Swinging Caves. That's what I called it. This is a cute song. I like this song. This song's kind of cozy. I think it. I think it's kind of cozy. So that's the plan. Obama. Okay, so we're looking at. We're back to the real deal. So we're gonna make this one actually rotate anti-clockwise at a slightly slower rate. This is a little loud. Hang on, I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. I'm slightly uncomfied by the volume. %. That's good enough and you will not complain, Mr. 30%. Okay, so we are back to it. Mr. Knightley is going insane in chat. Okay, I really hang on. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something irreparable real quick. I'm going to butcher my music player. We're going to we're going to do this, and then we're going to turn off autoplay on intro player, and then we're going to add a note for later. Remember, every good programmer leaves horrific schizophrenic comments in their code that only they would understand or tolerate. So if I run this now, yeah, we don't have overlapping music anymore. Epic. Okay, so what we want to do now is I still want to tinker with this. Firstly, I need to rename this node. It bothers me that this is called node 2D, so we're going to call it We're going to call it damage indicator, and we're going to save that. Reddit. Yeah. What if we have this like rotate half speed relative to the other? Okay, so I think this is just like kind of a weird optical illusion, but when I'm looking at this and I see that the points are like about to be overlapping, like for some reason my head looks at it and thinks, "Oh, why are they both slowing down?" They're not slowing down. They're consistent in their pacing. It's just that to me, it's bothering me. I have been looking at the chat. It's just that I am looking at an old chat message, aren't I? Yeah, that's on me. That's on me, man. Yeah, so this damage indicator is cool, but I'm actually thinking maybe no outline is the play. Like if I went back to my theme overrides and I turned off outline and I reran, I think that's a little hard to read. It's a little hard to read on its own. I could lower the modulate on those a little bit more, but if I lower it any more, then it's gonna be all washed out. But I'm gonna try 0.4 instead of 0.5. So if we go back, we rerun. Not even really a noticeable difference. Here, so what I want to do is we're just going to run, what is the function called? I made a function over here. Here, I'm just going to drag this over to where it will be in a better spot, hopefully. Or not. So you got, okay, let me just close that. Close the music player out. We don't need Trio Manager. Okay, so you got these two at the end here. The function that we are looking for is run indicator. And we're going to go, we do not need the action wheel here. Go away. The node selector, that top bar is very uncomfy. It might continue for that long. I don't know how late I'm going to stay up. So we're going to do run indicator. We're just going to do element 0, 2 damage. Pause error. Expected something. Oh yeah, that should be a colon. Are we good now? No more complaints? Ew. Right, I didn't center. It is not centered. I'm going to cry. Label. And then horizontal align, center. Vertical align, center. Yes, that should do it. Yeah. That ought to be it. I ran the wrong scene. I'm lost now. Battle manager. Save. Run. Yeah, so that's sort of the idea. That's what the damage indicator will look like. That looks kind of cool, doesn't it? I think it looks kind of cool. I think the difficulty is I want an outline. The problem is I think that an outline would stick out. I've got an idea. Mr. Krabs, I have an idea. Okay, so what we're going to do, is there a way to access, so label dot outline, no. Hang on. I gotta look up the Godot documentation real quick, because I know that there has to be a way to do this. Settle labels, custom font outline color. That is exactly what I need to find out. Please load the web page. I'm begging you. Godot docs, please. Font outline modulate. Okay. Label. Okay, hang on. Font outline color. The color of the text outline. Okay, is that correct? Font outline color? I don't know. This is actually going to be really, really gross, but it is what it is. So the idea is we're going to be fetching an outline color that is the exact same as we're going to set the outline color to be the exact same as the text color, except it's going to be 20% darker. And it's going to be color rate with a capital C. Capital, my good sir. I believe that's all I need to do. So now, if I run, I'm going to show the wrong thing because I'm running the wrong thing, pressing the wrong button. That crashed immediately. Unknown function. Cannot convert argument 1 from color to int. Oh yeah. .r. .g. .b. Now if I try again. Cannot convert argument 1 from float to int. Okay. Can I do that? This is kind of becoming an abomination. I think I need my mommy here. This is kind of I need somebody to pick me up. I'm scared. I'm kind of making an abomination. I think I need to repent after writing this code. Unknown function. Cannot convert argument 1 from float to int. I'm actually not understanding what this error means. Cannot convert argument 1 from float to int. This shouldn't be a float. There should be an int. Maybe it's doing some weird type conversions. If I try again. Invalid set index font outline color with value of type color. Really? Color is not a valid thing to use here. So if I just use color, right? And I just didn't do all this nonsense. I prefer color 8 because, you know, it's based on 256 and it's familiar, right? We can do divided by 256 times 0.8 and that's fine. It should be the same. Okay. Expected the end of statement after expression. Found comma instead. Why? Probably because there's an extra one of those. He's supposed to be here. Yeah, I'm not quite understanding what it's not happy with here. So I can see more of this, please. That's great. Okay. Expected end of statement after expression. Found comma instead. Is color not a function I could do here? I thought I could just make a color. Hang on, I'm looking at the Godot documentation real quick. There's got to be a way to just take a color and darken it. Darkened. Is that literally just the function? Darkened? Returns a new color resulting from making this color darker by a specified amount. Ratio from 0 to 1. Also see lightened. Okay, yeah, that's what I needed to find. I just needed to find darkened. I don't have to do all this manual stupid crap here. I can be smarter about this. I can make better decisions. Here, let me first see what darkened 1 does, see if it makes it black. That's the wrong button. I pressed the wrong button. Invalid set font outline color with base value of type color. Why? Do they not have font outline color? Is that not a thing anymore? Font outline color. It's spelled the same. This is a label. Is the note a label? I think it's a label, yeah. I don't see why it doesn't like that. Wrong button again. Yeah, I'm gonna Google that because that doesn't make sense. There's a Reddit post about someone complaining about how this doesn't work. That's interesting. You need to set the outline size and color on the dynamic font resource itself. Interesting. So I can't set it on the label, it has to be on the font. Really? That can't be right. Because... No. I need to look again. That's not right. How do I add a border or outline to a rich text label? Well, this guy... Nope. Text and outline color. Oh my. I'm looking at the solutions on the forums, and this is just like... This is just gross code that they're suggesting. Like, are you kidding me? Solid color text outline? No. Yeah. Huh. Oh. Is it really that? IntelliSense, where are you? My IntelliSense just gave up. Why are you doing that? IntelliSense is gone. Why are you doing this? Okay, we're gonna do this and hope that it works. Yeah, and I also need to change the outlines so that it does exist. So we need to add, let's see, font outline color. We need to make this white so it can be modulated, because something that's black cannot be modulated except for its alpha. And then we're going to make sure that we have an outline size. We're going to make that 20 like it was before. Save, go back to Battle Manager, rerun the code. Okay. Invalid get index font on base label. Okay, so you can't reach the font. I'm confused then. Is it the theme? Theme.font? Dot blah blah blah? Nope. Right, because it doesn't have a theme. It only has theme overrides. That is so strange. Okay, we have to do some really bad code. We have to do something really stupid here that honestly kind of makes me mad that it's something that I can change as an exported variable, but it's not something that I can directly access. That's very dumb. These are all 2020 posts, so this might be something that just isn't part of the engine anymore. But if I try to run that, I don't think this is going to work, because that doesn't look like it would work, but yeah. On base nil. Yeah, so this line here doesn't work. This has been depreciated. So this is a... Yeah. Yeah, because it should be just that. Assignment is not allowed inside an expression. Oh yeah. So if I do that, that's basically the same code, but refactored to make a little bit more sense. And I ran the wrong scene again. Yeah, so it doesn't have a font. It doesn't have a font, even though obviously it needs a font to be visual. Unfortunately, no way. Yeah, I can't. It would be very, very nice if I could just click and drag these exported fields over so I could actually work with them in the code, but that is not an option apparently. Theme override colors / font outline color. Bro, I really hate when IntelliSense gives up and it just doesn't give you suggestions anymore. Theme color override. No, let's remove theme color override. Add theme color override? How does this work? IntelliSense, are you going to tell me how this works? Godot's IntelliSense is very frustrating sometimes. Because it really should just tell you the parameters of the function, but it doesn't do that. String name int constant. Get theme constant. Yeah, no. It is astonishingly difficult to just change the outline of a word. Why the Godot demographic is the way it is. Yeah, they like taking it. Ugh. Add color override. Font color. Yeah, well, maybe. That might be the way to do it. Add theme color override. Outline color. No frickin' way. Is that really it? That's stupid. Sometimes I'll get like frustrated with a solution and I hope that it doesn't work just out of spite. Okay, so that does work. And so if I do darkened 0, then we won't see an outline, we'll just see a puffy number, right? No. What? Now I'm confused. That was 0, right? Darkened by 0. And it made it darker anyway. What if I do darkened -1? Okay, that makes it lighter. That looks gross, by the way. That's icky. Anyway, I think darkened 0 looks good. I think it does just enough to make the number pop out and isn't too clashing, although it's rather orange compared to the yellow. Yeah. I don't know. I'll let it happen. Stockholm Syndrome? That's literally me. I'm trapped, but I love it. I don't feel that trapped. And if I did, I wouldn't like it. Okay, so we're looking at okay, so we were looking at physical. Let's see if this like generalization works with everything. So thermal, that is completely invisible. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? That's great, isn't it? I'm gonna cry. Because that did not darken the 2. The 2 has remained undarkened. I'm gonna roll with a harsher darkening then, because yeah, I cannot see that 2. We're gonna roll with a 0.5, see what happens. We're gonna mess around and find out today. That looks fine. In fact, I kind of like that. Vaguely. Only slightly. I only barely don't contempt it. We're gonna try 2. 2 is chemic. That looks kind of cool. 3 is skadoosh electric. That is that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And then 4 is going to be magneto. There's magneto. That's a little on the dark side. but I'm fine with that for now. I think we've listened to this song for too long. I'm gonna pull up another song made by me, a mediocre songwriter. What song do I want to play? Synth string test? I don't know what that is. That could be bad. Second Chance Saloon. Untitled Sad. Last Contact Inner Hydro Plant Alternate. Where's my Jazz Waltz test? I like that song. This song. And I'm going to set the loop so that it doesn't fall off. He fell off for real, for real. No cap. Nope. Cozy Maxing. That's right, we are Cozy Maxing tonight, Lumpy. We got the basic visual for the damage indicator down. We're probably going to add like a punchy pop in, pop back a little bit kind of visual to it, you know. But for now, that's sort of what it looks like. And color changes depending on what kind of elemental attack is used. And again, I can fine-tune the colors later. That's not the point of this stream. That's not fun. So we're gonna keep this here for now. We're gonna keep this in our back pocket. It's a little loud for my liking. I'm gonna turn this down again. Okay. Did I show Lumpy the esoteric Katie image? I did not. I did not show Mr. Lumpy the esoteric Katie image. Yes, this is Mr. Knightley in the chat. Mr. 670 Knightleys. So if you were to hypothetically deal 20 damage somehow, that's what it would look like. You can tell that 20 damage is a lot of damage because it almost pops out of the thing. And then 99 Luftballons, and then the coveted 100. The Danger Mario 100. Ooh, that's bad. That's icky. I need to fix you. I think the answer is to just like widen the bounds of this so that even if the number is insanely impossibly high, like it's still centered. You know, I'm not entirely opposed to Dark Thought having an attack that does, that literally does like 100,000 damage. Like that much damage. Just for the sake of just showing off how powerful the dude is. Like that. Just seeing that happen in a Paper Mario game. Numbers like that. Imagine, dude. The Verk Thought. Yeah. But yeah, the most damage you could... I think the most damage that you would reasonably do with like a really well damaged build, you could probably reasonably get into the 20s in a single attack. With the current way that I have JRPG numbers, yeah. With the current way that I have balance sort of in my mind, I'm thinking 20. I think you could reasonably get 20. I think that this game will generally, enemies will generally have higher health and you will generally deal more damage than in most Paper Mario games. It's going to be somewhere, it's definitely going to be more like Paper Mario type numbers than Mario and Luigi type numbers, but it's going to be somewhere in between, you know? I feel like that makes sense. I mean, in general, like compare this to Bug Fables or Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. Well, actually, yeah, even Thousand Year Door. You get slightly more perks from leveling up in the current balance scheme. Doesn't mean that it's not going to change, because obviously as I get further into playtesting, I'm going to be like, wow, this sucks, and so on. Anyway, I'm going to steal an enum here. This elements lookup, I'm gonna plop this in Battle Manager as well. We're gonna use this. We're gonna have func calculate damage. Who's damage, you may be wondering? Well, this is where I get you. 99. So we're gonna have we need to have a handful of variables for this calculate damage field. So we're gonna need the element. We're going to need the damage, and then we're going to need faction. Like if it's on your side or the enemy side, because obviously, well, maybe not so obviously. I don't know. The way that I'm programming player's health is going to be the way that I program the stats of the player is going to be a little bit different from how I program the stats of an enemy, just because player stats are persistent. Like when you leave a battle, your stats stay the same. But if you leave a battle with an enemy, there's no need to remember that. So the way that we store them, we're going to store them in different places, and we're going to have different storage methods. So it's going to be important to tell this function if we're attacking a player or an NPC here, just for the sake of accessing that data a little differently. So we've got element, damage, faction. What else do we need? Element, damage, faction. Because again, oh right, target, obviously. So the target's going to be if it's against a player. I suppose target could be anything 0 to 4, right? So there could reasonably be 4 enemies on the field at a given time, and you could reasonably obviously there are only going to be 3 allies on the field at a given time, except for maybe later spoilers. I've got some ideas in the works. I've not spoken with Mr. Knightley on that, but the basic idea is salvaging a little Robit buddy that you can swap out for a different enemy NPC, kind of like Pokemon. But I'm not super deep into that. I'm not sure how difficult that would be to program. It might be very hard, and it might be a lot of work for something that's very simple. Yeah, exactly, a pet system. That's what I was thinking. So like there was maybe a way to, maybe if you did a certain quest or whatever, you could get like a pet, you know, like a pet lesser machine. You know, there could be like one from each district that you can collect, and they all have slightly different stats. You know, like Capacitron, for example, would be like a little guy that has electric type attacks, and you could maybe get a flare mech that does fire type attacks, and that kind of thing. Something kind of cute like that. That's the idea. I'm not sure if I'm going to go down that road, because Robit Redacted, we're not doing Robit Redacteds. We don't do that. You can't own those anymore. You can't own those anymore. We've got John Deere for that now. Alright, so we've got, I believe this is all the stats we need, all the choices we need for a calculate damage, right? We've got the element, we've got the raw incoming damage, we've got the faction, we've got the target. So using faction and target, we're going to grab stats like defense and elemental resistances and all of that. Obviously, those will be selected based on the element field, and the raw damage will obviously be taken into account as well. So I think the most obvious step in this calculate damage we're actually going to change faction to is ally instead. So if, just for the sake of making the code more readable, so we're going to have if is ally pass, and then we don't need this pass statement anymore. Actually, we do. So again, if we're accessing an ally, then the stats are going to be different from accessing an enemy. Which reminds me, before we go any further, we need to add some stats to the global save data. What is it called? It's an auto load. What is a singleton? That's it. Yeah, so we got a singleton. So we need to add some stats here. So for example, we need to add var. That's going to be hard. I need to think about this. So it'd be like var elemental resists equals so there's 5 elements, right? And then there's going to be 3 people. So then we're going to have something that looks like this, right? So elemental resistances is going to be an array of arrays. We're going to have 5 different arrays, 1 for each elemental type, and then a raw value for that elemental resistance. I think that pure defense is going to be something that is a little rare in Planar Robit. I think that you'll mostly be building around elemental resistances, and I think early on in the game, enemies are going to be very one note as far as elements go, and then later on in the game, enemies are going to have more varied abilities as far as elemental abilities go. So, like for example, a force field mech, for example, their attacks would be magnetic from the force field itself, but the attacks would also be, for example, thermal. They might have a laser as well. Something along those lines. The later on you get into the game, the more elements each individual robot will possess, and ultimately force you to build a more diverse all-rounder build instead of just focusing on a build that's good for the area that you're in. That's sort of the idea. I think that the Nico fight, Nico's gonna have to throw some curveballs for the fight to be interesting. Because if all his attacks are physical and electrical, then obviously you can just build a physical and electrical build and make him a very easy boss fight. So I think he's gonna have to be a little trickier than that. He's gonna have to be more clever. And I know he's a clever fella. Grenades, clever stuff. That's thermal and physical. When an attack, so when a single attack attacks with multiple elements simultaneously, I'm going to treat it as 2 separate attacks. So like if it's supposed to do 6 damage and it's fire and it's thermal and physical, then it's going to be 3 thermal, 3 physical, or some relevant ratio. I completely agree, Tread. I do agree. NPCs should be able to use player items. You know what? Should also be an option. You should be able to use any attack on anybody, and you should be able to use any item on anybody. That's my opinion. I think that that's a cooler thing, you know? I think it's cool if you can use an attack on your allies if you want to trigger a danger strat, you know? I think it's cool to want to use a healing item on an enemy to coax it into doing something you want. For example, like healing an enemy that summons more enemies so that it does summon more enemies so that you can farm more drops, for example. I think things like that are cool. I think you should have that in the game. I think it's more fun and interesting. So you have elemental resists, and we're also going to have, what is the opposite of resistance? Conductance? No. A complete free-for-all is interesting, and I think, again, I think it's extremely niche. I think that it's going to be used a couple of times over the entire course of any player's playthrough, but I think giving the player the option is what matters. So Dread, I'm not talking about vulnerabilities, because vulnerabilities I can just use as negative numbers and the elemental resists here. What I'm actually thinking is like amplifications, things that make you deal more damage on an attack. Actually, I think it would be better if I just called this Elemental DEF and Elemental ATK. I think that makes more sense. It sticks with the existing wording scheme, and now it fits with the existing ordering. I hope that this array notation is something that Godot is happy with. Godot might not like this, so I'm going to refresh the game real quick and see if it cries. It does not cry. Cool. Oh yeah, I never properly showed off the new battle UI. Isn't this kind of smooth? Isn't this kind of slick? Like if I mash, it queues up my button puts. Sorry, I'm having a strump bondulence. If I mash, it will queue up to one button input so that the wheel continues to move smoothly. That's pretty cool. The wheel's color modulates based on which character is highlighted, so that's something. And then we've got these test options that you can select from. I'm gonna make it so that these test options actually show proper options, but the wheel system confuses you? Oh no. Having text with the icon would help. That's true. That's true. Having text on these icons, I believe, does a lot. Unlike Bug Fables, I don't have this is a physical rotating thing, but the sprites are all billboarded, so they always face exactly towards the camera. So whenever the sprite goes behind, also these sprites are unshaded, so they're always going to be the same brightness no matter what. When the sprites go behind, they have to fade out. I set their alpha modulate to 0, so that or I don't set it to 0, but I fade it to 0, and that way it makes it so that whenever you're looking at this here, you can see these three icons, and none of the other icons are blocking the way. Also, these icons are not going to stay. Some of these icons will stay, but some of these icons are specific. Like the attack icon is for Katie only. Like this is her attack icon. You can tell it's her attack icon because it's a laser, and that's her attack. She shoots lasers. So obviously the laser icon is going to be the laser attack. Same with hack and patch. These are all these three icons that are visible right now are Katie centric. These three are generic. These three are good for any of them. I don't like the meta symbol. I want to change it. I just don't have any clever ideas for it. But you know, Abel is going to have a sword icon, and he's going to have all these categories. The idea behind this: every character is going to have meta, relay, and item. So meta is going to be general strategy and settings. Relay is just like Bug Fables, giving your turn to another character. Item is consuming an item, and then you have a supportive ability. So Abel's might be changing his stance. Sarge's might be, I don't know, I don't have any immediate thoughts for what his would be. Katie's, of course, is things like healing and buffs, that kind of thing. And then you've got your offensive ability. Katie's are going to be very gentle offensive abilities. They're more so debuffs for the enemies rather than actual attacks, whereas Abel and Sarge will have actual special attacks primarily, and then of course the basic attack. But I'm rambling on about something that's very far in the future. So if is ally, target's going to be. Yeah, let me write some comments here because I'm going to forget this. Element is based on element enum. Okay. Bingo, bango, bongo. Okay, so if is ally, then we're going to do global save data dot what did I call it? Heads or tails? Call it HP. So global save data dot HP equals blah 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 blah. Both. You can be both, Tread. That's me. We can't set global save data.hp. It would be HP of target. So global save data of HP, or HP of target, equals I believe that's the function. So oh, hang on. I need a var real damage. So real damage is going to be the maximum between 0 and damage dealt, damage minus global save data dot elemental defense, blah 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 blah. So the idea here is if your defense is higher than the enemy's attack, then theoretically you would heal from getting bonked, which does not make sense. You should just take 0 damage. So that's why we are capping it so that if 0 is greater than this number, then it's just going to deal 0 damage. So now we do global save data dot HP minus equals real damage. Cool. We need... We're going to need like several of these damage indicator nodes. I'm thinking about how to do that, because I could add them. I could do them dynamically, or I might not do them dynamically. I don't know. I'm thinking. because we'd want to. Hang on. I think I have something like this in one of my scenes. I've got like a scene loader somewhere in here. Loading zone? No. Scene swapper.scene. And the way that this works. So get tree, current scene, add child, blah 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 blah. The thing is, I'm a little worried because I have to do this right. If I implement this wrong, then it's a memory leak, and that's icky and bad, and I go to programmer hell. So I need to think about a good way to do this. I'd have to do this load and this instantiate. Okay, I think I know what to do. So I'm going to just steal all this code. I'm just gonna all that code right away. And I'm gonna loop, drop it over here. This is gonna happen after all these calculations here. So we're not gonna call it current battle node. We're gonna call it var. Ooh, nuh-uh. That's icky. You can't do var. You can't do that in the function, because then the pointer's gonna float off and it's gonna go to pointer heaven, and that node's still gonna be there. That's not okay. So we're gonna do var standing, or no, we're just gonna do var damage indicators equals an empty array, and that array will be populated with pointers pointing towards the damage indicator. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a damage indicators array, and we're going to push to the front. Can I see the Aurora Borealis from my kitchen? Let me actually step outside. Or not step outside, but step to my window and see. Nah, I can't. It might be too cloudy. It's probably too cloudy. Back to the gamer throne, the most uncomfortable chair in the world, of which I have a duplicate somehow. Unbelievable. Okay, I don't know if this works. I don't know if I can push with a load statement. I'm gonna assume that I can though, because I mean I can use that with an assignment statement, so it's basically the same thing. Now I have to instantiate it, so that's going to be damage indicators of Is that an abomination? I think it's an abomination. Oh yeah, this whole current battle path, I made that up. It's not real. I lied. We need to grab damage indicator.scene. Bloop. Damage indicator.scene. So we're going to do damage indicators of damage indicators length instantiate, and then we don't need this remove child statement that I slurped. It was unnecessary. And then get tree current scene add child, and that's going to be damage indicators of damage indicators length, because I think it might be length -1. I think it's length -1. I think that's the way you do it. So then it's the Texas Panhandle. Yeah, I heard that there was a big solar storm. I was honestly slacking at work a little bit when I noticed. Yeah, I've been not very good lately. I've been kind of bad lately. I'm hoping that I can run into another good project that I can really delve deep into. I'm ready for the next song. This song has been going on for a little while. Groovin' Beep Boop Bass? What is this? What is this track? I don't remember making this. Oh, I do remember making this. Yeah, I was a little schizo when I made that one. Oh my. Yeah, I only vaguely remember making that song. Piano test? Sorry, I'm trying to find a song. It's another song that I started and didn't finish. Oh my. This whole song is a solo. This is a cry for help. .mmpc. Here, do you have any recommendations, Mr. Knightley or Mr. Lumpy? City pop, the voices that okay. I don't have any city pop tracks in Planar Robit. Not yet at least, which is very sad. I want to learn the genre. I like city pop and I like fusion jazz, but they're very difficult genres to learn. All of this is in the wrong spot, by the way. This is all in the else statement. That should not be in the else statement. That should be in the always run statement, which is not a thing. I think that makes sense. It don't make sense. It make dollars. So now, instead of running this function whenever I start, I'm going to run oopsie poopsie. I'm going to run calculate damage, element 0, 4 damage, is ally, true, and then harassing able, as always. I pressed the wrong button. Does it sound close enough to City Pop? Okay, interesting. The delayed stream. It's over. It also doesn't hurt that I only look at the chat every once in a while just because I'm scrolling around. Let me find. I finally learned jums.mmpz. I believe this is the track. Let me set the looping so that is correct. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. I think I have no idea what City Pop is. Yeah. Yeah. So if I run this, does the app crash? Yeah! Yeah! No function length. Is it that size? Is size like a default thing? Size is a function. Yeah, we're not using length, we're using size. Now if we try again. Wah! Invalid type function add child in base node 3D. The object-derived class of argument 1 packed scene is not a subclass of the expected argument class. What? Okay. I think I'm in over my head. I think I'm digging a little too deep, a little too greedily here. Invalid type and function add child. Is not a subclass of the expected argument class. Can I just do like add child? Can I do that? Is that legal? No. I don't know what this error means. I've never seen this error before. I've never tried to do anything like this, so. Let's see. Is the loaded packed scene, and when you do okay. Problem is that you're calling instance to create the scene's nodes, but not assigning the result anywhere. Okay, okay. Is that what I did not do over here? I did current battle node dot instantiate dot push front this. Hang on. Am I misusing the size operator? Like if I did that. Okay, no, it does have to be size minus 1. Size minus 1. And then size minus 1 again. And then we run it again. Let's see. You have to create an object instance. Well, I believe I did. So load, and then instantiate, and then add child. So like, I do push front, which puts this to the front of the array, I believe. This is the damage indicators thingy. Oh. Damage indicators is null. Why are you null? I have to figure this out now. Because I'm not sure why this is null. This shouldn't be null. I've got this push front line. Here, I will put a breakpoint there, and I will try again. We reach the breakpoint. Damage indicators is null. Does push front not add to the array? Or can I just not push front with load? I'm just going to do something stupid. If I do that, and I reload, and I get rid of the breakpoint so it doesn't break. Here, if I do temp dot instantiate instead of all that, and I save and I reload. Okay, so now I'm a little confused. So I load the path, right? So var whatever equals load path of the thing that we want to load. That's fine. Then we instantiate. Hang on, I'm gonna look at documentation a little bit more, because that is dot instance. Okay. So you got the damage indicator load, sure. Dot instance. I don't know if dot instance is valid anymore. This might not be a thing in Godot 4. Yeah, they've removed dot instance from Godot 4, so all this documentation is useless. Okay. Right, we're rewinding time. This should work. There's no reason why this shouldn't work. If I run that. Non-existent function instantiate. Oh yeah, I should remove that. That line doesn't need to be there because I simplified it into one. Okay, it ran that. Cool, we got it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. We received a message from the scrap district. And that message is they must not like their land very much. Yeehaw! We're integrating it. Okay. Trash bro, get off the air. What's up, man? I'm just kind of trolling right now. I'm just trying to goob in. So now we've got. So now we can instantiate the node however we want. So now I think what we need to do is we need to unproject the physical position of our characters so that we can put the damage indicator where it belongs. Put it in its place. So I believe that we should do that in these sections here. Yeah, so we've got onReady player equals combatant 1, 2, and 3, and I believe these are these are in a physical location, epic. So we can use player of X. So it's going to be player of target. So we're going to get the global position of a player's location, and we need to unproject with the camera. So we're going to get camera dot unproject position, and yep, it's going to be vector 3. So we're going to do that. Parse error, identifier target not declared in the current scope. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, with a capital T. Okay, so now we're unprojecting the correct player. So now we can do, we need to do var indicator location, and then over here we're gonna do this guy, damage indicators of size -1. This dude right here, dot set global position, and then that's going to be the indicator location. So now if we run this, hello lemon bread, I crashed it again. Set global position is not a thing in 2D node. Cannot convert argument 1 from nil to vector 2. Wait, hang on, that's nil. Why is that nil? Let's see. Unproject position, player target, dot get global position. That shouldn't be nil. Set global indicator location shouldn't be nil. Let me look at the data here. We looked at the data. And we found that I am suffering brain rot. Yep, that's null. Why are you null? Because it should be running that line. Let's try that with breakpoints. So it's trying to run this function. Indicator location does not exist yet. Oh wait, no, I'm dumb. I didn't actually set the indicator location. So if we try that again, huzzah, it's like magic. Okay, so we know that Abel's getting bonked, and so the position of the position of the damage indicator is being set to Abel's feet because Abel's global position is measured at his feet. So we need to add some height to it, and that should do it. So that would be, so instead of doing, so we're going to do like a var player position equals, and we're going to cut this guy out of here, and then player position.y plus equals, I don't know, let's make him 4 units taller. You love the game's OST. Did you? I did make the OST myself. I've got quite a few tracks. In fact, this track's been playing a little bit too long. I'm gonna pull up another. In fact, here's the proof. The proof is in the pudding, and the pudding is that I made it. Let me find one. I like IO Center. That's a song that I listened to a lot whenever I was crunching through Valerie's Long Day. Because, you know, naturally, that's like the only track that's in that game. Let me make sure that this is lined up correctly to loop well. There we go. Okay. Really? That's awesome. That makes me really happy to hear. I want to get a lot better at music. It's just that you know, I tend to be so busy between all the things that I have to do. Anyway, if I run this now, it's gonna break because I did something wrong. What did I do? Invalid call function, unproject camera. Oh yeah, I removed the parameters and didn't replace them. Player position, try again. Okay, that's a little closer to where I want it to be. I could make it a little bit higher, so I'm gonna actually do +5. Reload. Yeah, so that would show up like that, I suppose. So if we wanted to bonk KD instead, then we would set the target to 1. We would reload. Yep, and now KD is getting bonked. And if we want the sergeant to get bonked, he gets bonked. Half of game dev is, well, it's actually about 90% of game dev is fixing bugs and typos and all that. the 10% is having fun. So yeah, we've got the damage indicator. It can change to a dynamic color based on the elements of the attack, and the damage indicator can be set to the position of the player. I think that perhaps I would want some kind of offset at some point just to change it. That's true. 10% fun can be more fun than a day job. It really depends on the day job, though. I think I really like my day job. I think most days I have more than 10% fun. The past week has been kind of a slog to get through lately, though, because I'm between projects and I feel useless because I'm not working on something. Yeah. So I think the next step is we should make an enemy class. I'm gonna be honest, making an enemy class is a little bit daunting because the enemy class needs to have so many things. It needs to be modular in that I should be able to tack on any attacks that I want and have it still work as attacks. And it also needs to be it needs to be flexible, but it can't be bloated. That's what I'm afraid of. I want it to be able to have dynamic attacks, dynamic animations, dynamic animation sets, and so on. And I just need to be really careful to make something cohesive. You know, that's what I'm kind of worried about, because code reuse is very, 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 very important when making a game, and you want to make sure that you reuse code absolutely wherever possible. So, yeah, I guess I got to jump into it. So I'm going to create a new folder for this. Enemies under the battle here. I don't have any enemy sprites made. I can doodle one up later, but for now, we're using Mr. Mark as a placeholder. So we're going to name this enemy prototype.scene. Is that right? I'm worried. I'm thinking about how I can make this correct, because polymorphism is important. I need to make it so that I can have many different forms for this. I'm trying to think about the best way to go about that. I suppose I should just rip the band-aid off and start by getting what I know needs to be here. So bloated is it's a programming term. It's whenever you have like too much code, like you have a lot of code, but like very small, like stuff that's actually getting done. Is every character a scene in Godot? Yes. In Planar Robit, every character is a scene. However, they are not unique scenes. So like all the NPCs are the same. They come from the same class, but they're different objects. So like, in object-oriented programming, a class is a template for an object. So for example, a dog would be a class, and my dog Razmataz would be an object. You see, Razmataz fits into the template that is the class of dog. You know, he's genetically a dog. He's got a tail. He's got floppy ears. He's got legs, 4 legs like a dog. You know, so a class defines the structure of an object, and an object fills that role with its own unique data that makes it itself. So again, in Planar Robit terms, there is a NPC object where any NPC matches that template, and then, or an NPC class, any NPC matches that object. Right, so a class would be a fridge, but your fridge would be an object. So like with the NPCs, the NPC is a class, but Cynthia, the NPC, is an object. Yeah, it's a little weird, but yeah, that's sort of the idea behind it. So I'm thinking enemies probably wouldn't want to have attack, because I think their attacks would be based on... No, I think I'm fine with enemies having attack. I think that's how Paper Mario did it. We're going to make these exported variables so that why do you not like this? Cannot use simple export annotation with variable without type or initializer, since type can't be inferred. Oh yeah, okay, my bad, I'm sorry. There we go. And then we're going to need that array of elemental resistances. So we're going to do export var so there are 5 elements planned to be in the game. There might be more later, but only 5 for now. So we're going to have yeah, so base attack is how much damage you do no matter what, and then elemental attack is bonus damage you deal based on the type of attack that you're doing. I think that elemental attack is going to be rare in... I think elemental attack is going to be rare for the player to get. I think there's only some niche places where you would get it. What would be common for the player, though, is cores that replace the base element of your basic attack. Like Abel's basic attack might change from physical to thermal or something. Anyway, I'm trying to think about what other stats an enemy needs. Oh yeah. They're going to need max HP. We're going to have the max HP default to 1 because I think a max HP of 0 could cause bugs in the future if somehow I don't set that correctly. So we got the ready funky, and that's going to be... We're just going to make it so that we're just going to assume that all enemies start at full health. I think that makes sense. I think that, yeah, we wouldn't need anything otherwise. Yeah, that just makes sense. What else? We don't need that pass statement anymore. I'm trying to think about what else an enemy would need. I mean, obviously it would have its sprite set. The problem is certain enemies would have different animations from others. Like, for example, how would I handle a 3D enemy? You know, 3D enemies they're goofy, they're weird, they don't have sprites, so their animations wouldn't at all look similar to how I code the animations of 2D characters. So I need to think... Sorry, this is too much of a thinky topic. But yeah, I need to consider that. So the idea behind this enemy prototype here. Oh, I suppose something I need to do for the enemy prototype is I need to... Let me see if I can find this. I believe I have something for this in inventory. Okay, this is... Oof. Alright, so I remember how I did this with cores. So my core code is relatively clean for what it is. It is what it is, but it's relatively clean. The way that I use polymorphism here is I have these arrays of core prototypes, and these core prototypes all have a base class, like I call it a prototype class, the base class, and then they extend their scripts from that base class so that they can have some shared data. Welcome back. And with that, I'm losing my train of thought. I think it's over. Anyway, general idea, I can copy some of the design philosophies over from my cores by having these functions that all have the same name among all of the children class, or all the classes that inherit from the enemy prototype class. But I need to make sure This is very difficult. I'm actually thinking really hard on this, because there's so many ways this could go wrong. Because if I just start laying out enemy AI right now, then that AI would be the same for every single enemy, and I might hypothetically want certain enemies to react to certain things better. So I'm not sure. This may take additional consideration. I might have to sleep on this one. I'm gonna step back from that concerning and difficult challenge and work on a different concerning and difficult challenge. I can comment this out, and I can remove this node. This is just a test node. It's no longer necessary. I need to add a note for myself for later in case I make a mistake. Do I ever use flowcharts? Usually no. This is one of those issues where flowcharts aren't really helpful, because it's more complex relationships. Like, I think even a UML diagram would make this more difficult for me. Yeah, it's just. Let me get out Notepad. Or actually, I've got Paint.net, even better. So the idea. It's like with cores, for example. That is not the shape I want to use. I want to use this, and I want to use this, and I want this to be 10 pixels. So basically, I want to have this central class. This is the prototype. This is a bad font. We're going to use the correct font, the Robit font. Unispace. There we go. That's the Robit font. So we've got like this basic prototype, right? So this is going to be, we're going to call this, we're just going to call this like the basic enemy template, for example. We want this template to be able to create any other enemy. We want to be able to create any enemy in the game. So what does it need to what does it need to support? So it needs to support so it needs to support 2D and 3D animation. That alone is a pretty big ask. We also need it to support dynamic AI. Because it can't just be... It can't just have the same AI for every single enemy, because certain enemies are going to have different AI. Like the Bob-ombs, for example, in Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. They've got their exploding charge once they're primed. So they have unique AI for that. So we need dynamic AI. What else? We need dynamic attacks. So we need dynamic attacks. We want this one enemy template to be compatible with any type of attack that any enemy will come up with. And so that makes things difficult as well. And then there's, unique behavior in general. Like, for example, like Astopheles from Bug Fables. He'll knock an item out of your hand. Yeah, exactly. So I think there's more things that we need to consider here. But dynamic AI, animation, dynamic attacks, and unique behavior, I think these are sort of the 4 core pillars that an enemy template needs to be able to support. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Obviously, the Bug Fables development team are very talented. Mar is a very talented gentleman, but their code is not clean. It's like I've heard rumors that Bug Fables, runs on like 4 functions, and that's the whole game. So I think that taking a page out of their book in terms of coding style would not be a good choice. So yeah, I think, you know what? What if? I think I understand. So I'm looking at this in the wrong perspective here. Let me add a new one. We're gonna make it purple again. Beautiful purple. So I was thinking of it. So the way I did badges, right, is you've got your badge template, and then you've got your and then badge inherits from the template. That's what my programming style was before, and that's perfectly fine. In fact, that is, in my opinion, the best solution to that scenario. But what if instead we had a 2-tiered approach? My idea is that we use a 2-tiered approach to this instead. So we've got an enemy template, and then this is where things get a little weird. Hopefully we don't lose people here. We don't have an attack that attaches to the enemy template. We have an attack template that attaches to the enemy template. And so the attack template lays out the guidelines of what an attack is supposed to look like. And then we have an actual attack that comes out of the attack template. So we have a 2-tiered or a 3-tiered system. And so like instead of having animations that are directly connected to the enemy template. Right. We can have more modular options overall in general. So like, for example, instead of just tacking animation onto the enemy template, we have an animation template that says this is what an animation is supposed to look like. Now describe an animation underneath. And so having a 3-tiered approach means that this enemy template doesn't need to be a massive, advanced, really complicated class. It just needs to hold all the other classes together. My only concern is so something that programming languages tend to not have very well is a way for siblings to communicate with each other. But look at this. This is important. So hang on. I've got another tier that I need to do. I need to finish this drawing. So we got the actual animation. Oh my, I am breaking everything. So actual animation connects here. So my concern now, how do these two talk to each other? Because these two need to talk to each other. Like when an attack happens, an animation needs to play. So these two nodes, or it wouldn't be attack template, it would be actual attack. These two nodes need to talk to each other, but they're not next to each other. So I'll have to think about that. I'll have to think harder on that one. Yeah, because giving these guys access to animations, giving these guys access to each other's animations is not a good idea. Or like if every single attack had access to every single animation and vice versa, that would just be too much coupling. That's bad. That's bad object-oriented programming. So I would need to find out. I would need a way to list out the attacks, or I would need a way to list out the animations that an attack needs access to. Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to think harder on that, because that's. But I think a two-tiered approach is better than a one-tier approach. Yeah. Yeah. Difficult stuff. The battle system of this game is going to be the second most complicated programming project in making this game. The number one most complicated part is probably going to be Rogi. Actually, I don't know. Rogi might be easier than this at this point. No, Rogi's definitely going to be harder. Yeah, I'm gonna set aside the battle system for now. Yeah, I'm gonna set it aside for now. I suppose I should, I don't know, make my first enemy design. I've got a very simple idea for my first enemy design. It doesn't need to be crazy, you know, like in Paper Mario, you know, the enemies are just like a little spinny guy, you know, or like a little mushroom dude. So I won't feel too bad. Yeah, it was only like, it only had 2 tiers, and yeah, it was, yeah. It's still not 100% done, but I've got, actually, yeah, my badges are almost done. Like if I run this, you know, it's like, you know, you can equip them however you like. You can throw them on whoever, and you've got the actual collection of them here, which is kind of neat. There's actually a couple that I have sitting around that I've not yet added to the code, so I'll have to do that. I have a lot more that I need to draw too. Yeah, everything's it's Robit. Like the power that you spend is megajoules, and or rather the energy that you have is megajoules, and the power that you have is kilowatts. But yeah, you can stack a bunch of stuff on, and these actually do affect all your stats. You know, these are fully implemented. Like for example, thickened plating. If I put a bunch of these on Abe, His max HP is 27 now. He's decked out. It doesn't show in the top bar because I have not really dynamically connected that yet, unfortunately. I certainly hope so. I really, really hope so. Ooh, that is something that I should do. I should add items to the game. I don't have any item sprites drawn, or very few. I also need to actually set up the database menu, because this menu is actually fake. It brings you to the cores menu no matter what. So I need to fix that. Yeah, I do have a train. It goes choo-choo. It actually does not go choo-choo, I lied. Yeah, there are a lot of cool mechanics that I've got kind of in the works, you know. I don't have Abel's actual, like, sword swinging animation. I've not yet drawn that, but imagine that he's swinging a sword and it's hitting this thing and it's making it swing. Takes a bit of imagination. I can see that there's going to be really fun puzzles with the light here. You know, like the filtering of light, I think, would make for very fun puzzles. Also, being able to carry mirrors. I have a handful of diagrams drawn out for cool puzzle ideas for level designs. And you can either set it down by jumping, or you can throw it if you want to have fun. If you want to be more fun about things. You know, you can talk to Nima. You should be nice to Nima. You can buy things too. You can say no to buying things, or you could say yes to buying things. You can say hi to Screwy Davis, and he's gonna give you a bad deal. Who's the blue robot? That's Katie, the little one. So I've got some little level design snippets here and there. Like all the levels that I set up for Valerie's Long Day are actually not in this version of the game. Valerie's Long Day is like its own unique demo, mini demo. So it's an entirely different repo, and I'm glad it is because I completely butchered my code to get it done in time. We do love Katie. She might be my favorite. I'm not supposed to have favorites, but she might be. But yeah. Anyway, I gotta make my first enemy. Object. No. It's under Add, Mesh, Cylinder. I'm gonna be real with you. This is Is Valerie's Long Day good? Not really. No. It was an April Fool's game. You know, I think the only part that anybody would really enjoy is the art and the story, but both of those are pretty minimal. You're not missing a whole lot if you didn't play it. I did crunch super hard to get it done, but that does not mean that it was good. Okay, this looks icky. This is not what I'm going for. Mirror. Okay. Oop. And then we're gonna do a little bit of geometry maxing. There's always gonna be a favorite OC. Yeah, but I don't wanna. I'm not supposed to have a favorite. I'm biased. I'm probably biased towards her because of out of all the characters, she deserves the terrible thing to happen the least. Yeah, Valerie's long day is pretty short. You can play through the whole thing in like 10 minutes. You did spell it right, and I really appreciate that. Because yeah, I have zero experience with art. I have never, before Planar Robit, I had no experience with art whatsoever. I just had nothing, you know? Can we go back? Here, I need to add a new material, and then, can we... Does it not like me anymore? Oh, I'm in point select mode. That's fine. I do something along those lines. Object mode. Yep. Yeah. You know, all of my art actually comes from 3D models. I 3D model everything before I actually make it art. Like this little dude here. I need to... Thank you. I settled for a simplistic art style because it's all I could do. Yes, the idea here is it's a capacitor and it wants to kill you. That's really it. It's nothing too fancy. Yeah. My idea here is to draw the legs to be a little bit longer than they actually need to be. Like, you know, these legs are long. And that way I can just like bury the actual 2D sprite partially in the ground. This is actually the first enemy being created. That's kind of wild. Yeah. And I tell you, this is going to be extremely visually simplistic. You know, he's not going to be anything fancy. Something that is really important when doing these 3D models here is zoom out your camera as far as you can without going beyond the view distance, and then under your camera settings, crank up your focal length, and this will get you close to an isometric view of the, like, it'll give you an approximate isometric view of whatever you're trying to capture. And with that, you can ensure that, you know, lines are more likely to stay parallel. For example, if I do this, for example, you can see, like, if I were to make the camera close and, you know, do something like this, you can see, you know, these lines don't stay parallel. You can see that they kind of like when you're standing in the middle of a road in the middle of nowhere, and you can see that the road kind of converges to a single point. The lines are supposed to stay parallel, but they don't, because you've got an orthographic projection. But if you zoom way in, you can get more of a I've already lost the term. It's over. You can get more of an isometric perspective, which preserves parallel lines, which is good for sprites, because sprites are supposed to stay parallel everywhere, because sprites are not supposed to be angled, you know. I feel like this is tall. I feel like these guys are supposed to be shorter. I'm gonna make you a little bit shorter. A little bit shorter. No, not like that. Like that. And then we angle it like... I always angle it a little high so you can see the hat on the dude. I think because this is going to be like a scrap wastes enemy, maybe... I think that's style I can add in post. Yeah. You can see this enemy is extremely simplistic. So if I were to just render image, it's going to be like a standing sprite. I need to save it somewhere, and that's going to go to oh, I guess I did. I guess I have drawn a few enemies. Yeah, I drew the line mech, the telecom mech, and the telecom drone and the blasting drone. So I guess this is number 4. I was wrong. But this is the first one that I'm going to be putting in the game and actually using. Whoops. Where's rename? Rename. Capacitron. Capacitron.png. This is a pretty cozy way to spend my first real weekend at my apartment. This is nice. I think tomorrow I'm gonna mosey my way on down to the Cowboy Cafe and try out the local coffee shop. I'm not much of a spend money on things kind of guy, but it's a local business. I feel like I ought to at least give them a shot. Where did I place it? Lesser machines. Yeah, so here's the existing ones. This line mech, for example, he's probably not going to stay. You can see that the angle on him is all wrong. I think the shading is lovely. I think the colors are lovely. I think the aluminum spool and the harpoons are a little weird, but the problem is you can see at this angle just won't work. You can't place it in a 3D space. Yeah, I did move recently. I'd been living with my parents, you know, with the exception of living at my dorm in college. I've been living with my parents, you know, all my life, and so yeah. I think tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow night will mark the 1 week anniversary, which is pretty cool, pretty hype. I've been trying to be very conscious about what I eat and what I cook, and you know, making good decisions for long-term stuff, you know. But so I think even though the capacitron is like kind of little, I'm gonna make it so that its sprite is square. And we're gonna do... Yeah, I'll keep 1080 by 1080, that's fine. Where's my layers? I can't have my thing without layers. Also, that song's been playing a little too much. It's time to change. Time to change the song. Crappytest.mmpz. Reverbpianotest.mmpz. Subversive ragtime. Alt.mmpz. That one's secret. That one I've not uploaded yet. Untitled Cutesy Waltz. I have not uploaded that one. Grindy harpsichord test, synth string test, subversive ragtime, item jingle, half step decline, definitely derelict depot, space. What is space voice test? Oh, it's that song. Hang on, we're not doing that one. String arpeggio test against the overclock. Second Chance Saloon. That's what we're gonna listen to now. That's a cutesy song. Yeah, diseased capacitron. Yeah, so I actually do have a plan to reference old school systems. So capacitors, you may or may not know this. 20 pixel outline, by the way, is standard for Robit. Um, you may or may not know this, but capacitors like exploding when they're old and when they have not been when they're old and when they've been recently charged after not being charged for a large amount of time. Capacitors like exploding. Wrong layer. And so this is an early enemy, so one of its attacks is going to be kind of a waiting attack where it doesn't really do a whole lot. And instead of attacking, it does a charge up. And if the enemy charges up, if the capacitor charges up too many times in a row without discharging and attacking, then the capacitor will blow like a firework, as they do in real computers. Oh man, yeah, I wouldn't. Booted up my PC because I need me a computer from 2003. Yeah, sorry, I'm subjecting you to brain rot. Whoops, let go of shift at the wrong time. He's taking shape. It's a cup. Is it half full or half empty? This is fitting music because this is music that plays where this guy will show up. The story's had so many rewrites, and I'm still not 100% happy with it. I think it's one of those things where I'm just gonna rewrite it and over and over and over again, and then it'll get to the point where it's like, well, I have to release it someday. It is what it is. It's good enough. Yeah, I know the feeling. I am very glad that I do not have a client support role at my company. I'll do some client support things here and there, but I'm glad that that's not my full-time dealio, because I would probably go a little kooky, a little goofy. Another strategy that I use to keep my art style consistent is I will find an existing character and I will steal from their color palette. Like for example, Liena, her neck is perfect for the capacitron. So we put in the base color. Actually, I need to clean up the outline first. Whenever I have these curved surfaces, I just do half the remaining space, half the remaining space. And I repeat that until there's no more space. So half, half, and that's done. I think Liena has some design philosophy that I don't really use anymore. Like these square arms, I don't use those anymore. I think that's something that I sort of arbitrarily decided that I liked it for the sake of, you know, having more varied character designs, and I think I eventually decided that that just didn't fit. Really? Oh, I see. Paint bucket tolerance too high. Too tolerant. Spent every year in high school taking classes related to computers. Not because you like them, but... Oh, yeah. That's fair. I mean, there are a lot of jobs that you can get where, you know, you don't have to be a computer pro, though. Like, you know, accounting is really big. Engineering is amazing. You can even get some good HR roles, you know. You could also do... like at my company, you know, there's a good-sized member service department, for example. You know, I think there are a lot of places where one can thrive without without being much of a computer pro. I got into it because I have a lot of influence from my father, who's very much into computers. Who do I want to steal for this color? Do I want to steal from Dottie? I think Dottie has the best arms for it. Sorry, Miss Dottie, I am skinning you. Oh yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's with that kind of mindset, you know, that's things like, you know, like welding and plumbing are really, actually I suppose welding is more creative as well, but you know, things like plumbing or you know, vehicle engineering. And by engineer, you know, I mean like being a vehicle mechanic, you know, those are very, very lucrative paths for someone who's into like you know, maintenance style occupations. I made a mistake. But I don't know. I think creativity is actually, ironically, I think creativity is learned. Why are you not working with me? What is the deal here? Dark. Dump the dark. Okay. Then I pick up the light. Now I have the light. I am so confused. Why is it doing this? Oh, I'm dumb. Yep, that's why. Womp womp. Oh yeah, that's really cool. I mean, Coast Guard's a pretty good way to go. If you serve, you know, your whole contract, you get really good benefits for the rest of your life, and you know that goes on to your kids and everything. It's a good way to set up a good path for having a long last, or like a, you know, a well-established family and everything. Rotate text. Bold. You can't highlight. Interesting. interested to see the C. The C analog in Robit. Well, I actually... I've got a very, very, very dark C reference that I want to put in Robit. Are you aware of the custom of the C? And when I say it's dark, I mean it's dark. Custom of the C is a very dark topic. So the custom of the sea is an old maritime practice in which when a ship is wrecked and they're on a lifeboat and there's no supplies and something has to go. Something has to go for the rest of the others to survive. I don't know how I could put it any lighter. Like the Donner Party. I don't know if that makes sense. I just realized if I put a lot of detail into this, then that's a lot of detail that I have to replicate. I might be digging a grave for myself here. You know what? I'm not going to make this any harder on myself than it has to be. I'm going to take a section here, copy paste. Anyway, I have a plan for a reference to that in the scrap waste. Again, it's very, very dark, but it's not uncharacteristically dark considering the game story and all that. But basically, I think that there's like there's going to be like a scrapping expedition where they find two robots that are just kind of on the ground, you know, dead. One of them doesn't have his battery, and the other one is fried because he tried to use a battery that didn't work with his model. And you know, it's up to the player to piece that together and understand what that necessarily means. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you gotta be ruthless to survive in the Robit world. There are some very brutal people in the future, in the Robit future, and that's just kind of how it is. There we go. That's the kind of pattern I want to see. Oh, ain't that cute? Then I can just dump white. Nope, don't do that. Yeah, I mean she's gonna be okay though. She's gonna be okay. She's not strong yet, but she will be strong soon. If I rotate this back. will this look good? It's kind of cool. It's kind of neato. Although I don't like this. Yeah, that looks like a capacitor to me. I think, you know, the lore with Katie though, she has a very sheltered life. She's not. I think one of the reasons why the adventure is so hard on her is because, you know, she's never lived in a situation where she's needed to react like that, you know. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm very. It's a little late, so I'm not 100% in the brain. I think this is all I need for the capacitron. I think that's kind of cute. So I'm gonna Control S and save that as 2D capacitron.pdn. Save as 2D capacitron.pdn, except with an actual space there. Save as 2D capacitron.png. So then one of the attacks that I want the capacitron to have is I want him to have like a cool helicopter attack, because I think that would be fun. That ain't right. No siree. Nope. Nuh-uh. What in tarnation? Well, that's almost what I want. Yeah, it's like that, except a little less extreme. Optional dialogue for each room and NPCs like in Bug Fables? Yeah. I want to have lots of optional dialogue. I think that's why I've made so many NPCs, just so that I can have more dialogue options. Oh dear. You see, I made choices. And the choices I've made are not good. Does Blender not have redo? Okay, well I'm going to continue pressing Control Z then. I did it wrong again. I'm actually a little bit lost as to how this was supposed to go. It's like we got this. I don't know why it's kind of hooking around like that, but can I rotate this assembly here? Yeah, because if I rotate it, it does this spaghetti stuff. I don't know if I'm on board with that. He's doing the stanky leg. Stop him. Capacitron split 1, that pung. We're going to open Capacitron, split 1. That's not actually what I wanted to do. Pictures. No, I didn't save it to pictures. I saved it to my Robit folder. I've got a special Robit folder on my computer so that I can save to my backup drive more easily. I've got an 18 terabyte backup drive with the sole purpose of storing Robit files, and I'm only using like 1 gig of it. One of my goals for Planar Robit is to make the... What? Oh. One of my goals in Planar Robit is to make the file size reasonable. I think that a lot of modern games these days have file sizes that are just unreasonably large, and I'm not on board with that. If you hear any screaming, please ignore that. That's just my neighbors. My neighbors' kids. I'm honestly not bothered by it. It's kids being kids. Don't lose the files halfway through dev like Project Zomboid. That's what I'm terrified of. When I moved to my apartment, I told my brother, hey, this backup drive, it needs to travel in a separate vehicle from my computer. They have to go separately. And he laughed and he's like, these are the keys to the nuclear bomb. Like, that's what I'm saying. You have to believe me. Mr. President, get down, you know? It's practically the nuclear football. Except the only thing that would be going nuclear is me. I'm gonna change the track. This has been playing on repeat for too long. I'm getting sand madness, just like Xavier. Let's see. I need to find a track. Spaceman test. Boop beep boop 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 beep boop. I think if you wanted to say something to offend a robot, I think you would say that the robot talks like beep boop. I think they wouldn't appreciate that. Yeah, I actually should take backups more seriously because like I have a backup drive, but I don't have a cloud backup. So like if my apartment burns down, for example, I'll still lose everything. But it does save me from a hard drive fault. And it does save me from, you know, something frying my computer somehow, like a surge. But it could be safer. I could always be safer. I mean, this is Wyoming after all. It gets pretty dry in the summer. Forest fire or wildfire could pull in, so you never know. Always better safe than sorry. Katie theme maxing. Make 10 drives. Bury them in 10 separate countries. Okay, okay. I need one in Mexico. I need one in Serbia. I need one... I'm gonna put one in Russia. I'm gonna put one in Australia. One in China. One in... Zimbabwe. No, that'd be a bad idea. There's a very sad baby on the other side of my wall. Oh man. Poorly made indie game was saving when the PC crashed. Damn. I would be very upset if my PC died, because it wasn't too long ago that I poured a considerable amount of money into upgrading it. I didn't buy a new graphics card because I'm not made of gold, but I did get a new CPU and new RAM. I'm going to continue to run a 15-year-old graphics card forever until I can't anymore. Just because it's too darn expensive to get even a mediocre quality graphics card these days. Too many people using them for AI. That's something, Lumpy, that's something I was terrified of. My first um, my first day at my apartment, I had to watch my dogs. So I brought my dogs to my apartment. And I didn't have my desk set up at the time. So I was terrified that because my computer was sitting on the ground that they might pee on it. Because, you know, my dog Raz, he's a boy and he likes to mark things that, you know, he thinks should be marked. So I was worried that he would do that to my computer. He didn't. He was a good boy. He was an angel when I had him over. But, you know, there's always the threat. Very upset, Babby. Very upset, Babby, on the other side of that wall, I tell you what. Okay, so that's one of the spinny sprites. $14 years. Yeah, that's pretty good. $2D capacitor on split 1, .pdn and .png. And then we're gonna take the same guy, the whole assembly, in object mode. Split2.png. We're going to apply split2.png. It's more or less accurate. Yeah, you know, dogs will be dogs. It's in their nature to pee on things. It's in a cat's nature to tug on string and stuff. And cables. No hint of remorse. Doesn't blink at torture, cruelty of any kind. I don't remember that monologue, unfortunately. It would have been funny if I did. You know, I'm erasing this in a really dumb way because I'm very likely to leave stray pixels, and it's gonna ruin everything. Nah, but it will be slightly annoying. Sorry if my commentary is running out of steam a little bit. I'm getting close to EP time, but I wanna wrap this up first though. I wanna at least get the basic sprites of this guy done, his most simple attacks. Aw, that's really sweet. So this is one of my redo songs because I don't remember if it was my first song ever or if it was my second song ever. I think it might have been my first song ever. It was called Infirmary. The first song I ever composed, start to finish, was made for Planar Robit, and it was made less than a year ago. Um, and it was meant to be the theme for Katie's Infirmary because um, I don't know if everybody knows this or not, but you know, Katie is the doctor in training. Her older sister is the local surgeon of the scrap wastes. So prospectors can, you know, easily get injured out in the desert, and so the two of them are there to help. The whole reason why Katie gets dragged along in this adventure, even though she is absolutely not the adventurous type, is because she suspects that Abel will die if he does not have constant medical attention because he is uh, exceedingly reckless, and she couldn't let that happen to someone. So that's why she does it, even though she doesn't enjoy it, or at least she doesn't enjoy it at first. She does it because uh, she she cares about her friend. She is very sweet, and that's part of the culture that she was raised in, because the culture and setting of where she's raised in plays a very, very important part, like for her character. Um, you know, being raised in the scrap district, or in the scrap wastes rather. Spoiler. Um, she's she's surrounded by old robots who are, they're looking for parts, to repair themselves. And so the scrap waste is typically full of much older robots, and so she kind of has that, the vibes of, like, the people who were like raised by their grandparents, and they're just like the most friendly, well-mannered people you'll ever meet. She kind of has that vibe going for her because of that, because she that's just sort of the environment she grew up in. Okay, so we got capacitron split 2.png. Why does he tag along? Um, he's partly responsible for the whole Abel issue, you know. He's he's the one who finds Abel in disrepair. And so at first, you know, he works with him just because he feels responsible. He feels responsible for what happened, you know. This is I need a third frame for this. I need a third frame where the blades face the camera. Um, yeah, Sarge tags along firstly because he's the one who finds Abel in his state of disrepair. Is that about what I want? Hang on, I gotta make sure I got this right. Because where's my photos again? Yeah, I would need something pretty dead on for that. Not like that. Yeah, sure, that'll do. Why is this not? This isn't saving to where it was saving the other things. Oh wait, because I'm not saving the image. Duh. Capacitron split 3. We'll do a 3-frame animation. Hopefully I won't need more frames than 3 because this is going to take a lot of work if it's going to need more than 3. Whoops, that's not how you do that. And then, you know, Sarge tags along later on for other... So it's kind of... His motivations are a little weird because it's like... Actually, I don't know. I don't want to spoil too much. Yeah, I don't want to spoil too much. But helping Abel reminds him of like Abel reminds him of things that he's done in his past that he wants to atone for. So he's kind of guilt tripped himself into helping Abel. Yeah, you might get some spoilies here and there. Yeah, might get a little more than you bargained for. But I will try to be very non-spoilery in the development streams and videos. I will try to hold my tongue and not ruin this for everybody. There we go. Yeah, it needs a little more of that. And then if I remove that layer, oof, that perspective's not nice. Yeah. I think I know what I did wrong here. It's gotta be like that. And then we got this. There we go. I don't know. I don't think I need to do a Kickstarter. Well, I don't know. I probably will do a Kickstarter whenever I release the demo eventually. But, you know, I make plenty of money. I'm not worried about going hungry. Although I probably would I don't know. I don't even know that I would quit my day job if the Kickstarter was super successful. It's hard to say. It's hard to say because it's, you know, I do really enjoy my day job, but I do enjoy working on Robit more. And if I could make Robit a full-time job, I absolutely would. It's just that, you know, it's hard to step away from something that's reliable and stable for something that is not. But I don't know. If I could do a Robit Kickstarter and I earned like 1.5 years worth of my salary in the Kickstarter, then I probably would. I probably would, um, at the very least, take um, a leave of absence from my job for a year and a half or more to work on it. I think I've left a good enough impression at my workplace that they would take me back if I decided I needed to go back. It's just that I don't know. I suppose it's a bit of a pride thing to, because you know it's kind of hurtful to the ego to say, yeah, I was wrong. I made a bad decision. I need to come back. You know, like I wouldn't do that unless I was confident that I wouldn't need to do that. And it's not because I dislike them. You know, again, I love the job. It's just that it's an ego thing. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. Okay, so now we're gonna pull open the GIF generator. What is this? Beep boop beep boop beep boop beep beep boop boop. Okay. uh, I've got a GIF generator. It's not actually a GIF. It's an animated PNG. Spoilers here. Uh, 2D art. Lesser machines. Scrap lessers, capacitron, boop beep. Or no. I need the PNGs. I just want to get a visual for what this looks like. We're gonna set the delay down to something low, like 5. We're gonna spin fast. And we're gonna copy the in-between frame and put them there. And then don't stack frames, make a PNG. Spin! It's a little fast, but he's got the gumption. Half speed. Yeah, it's okay. It's fine. Yeah, I'd probably need to make another frame where this label is visible on the side there, but I think it's about time for me to call it for the night. It's almost midnight here in Wyoming, so I think it's about Betty by time. So I would like to thank you, Lemon Bread and Lumpy, and Mr. Knightley, and Ben, and PVZ Obsessor. I would like to thank you all for hanging out for a cozy stream tonight, and hopefully there will be more cozy streams to come. I will need to make a proper game plan for the next cozy stream. Like this one was relatively structured. It's mostly focused on battle mechanics. So I would need to decide a good category for the next one. But yeah, I will I will be back someday. Good night, and yeah, yep. I don't know. I might stream tomorrow. I don't know. It was kind of fun, and yeah. I don't know how to properly end a stream, so good night, Lumpy. Yeah. I don't know the proper way to end a stream, so I guess I will call it here. You all have a good night.